All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
We always like to get into the really interesting stuff, and today we're going to be talking about ethical AI.
Yeah. It's a huge topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something that, we hear about all the time, AI, this AI, that, but we don't often hear about what it actually means to build AI ethically and responsibly. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that kind of feels like it's in the future, ethical AI, but
Right.
it's very much a now problem.
It is a now problem.
Yeah.
So to help us kind of break this down today, we're going to be looking at a really fascinating conversation between an AI ethicist and a tech policy expert.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the builder and you've got the rule maker.
Right, exactly. And they were talking about how do we actually make sure that this incredibly powerful technology that we're building is used for good and not for bad.
Right. And I mean, it's kind of amazing to think about, even 5 or 10 years ago, we were talking about AI as if it was this thing that was going to be in the future. Like, oh, one day the robots will be here and now
They're here.
they're here. It's not robots exactly, but AI is.
Exactly. And it's making decisions that affect our lives every single day.
Yeah. I mean, think about, just a really basic example, like recommendations you get online.
Right.
That's all AI.
Oh, absolutely. So
Right.
that's why I think this is so relevant to every single person listening.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just for people who work in tech, it's for everybody because it's affecting us all.
Absolutely. And one of the things that the AI ethicists brought up was this idea that AI systems, they're basically like these incredibly powerful learners,
Right.
but they can only be as good as the data they're trained on.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And if that data is biased, the AI is going to be biased too.
So this has real world consequences.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine hiring algorithms that unfairly favor certain demographics.
Oh, how? Yeah.
Or loan applications that are more likely to be rejected based on, factors that shouldn't even be considered.
That's scary stuff.
It is. And that's why, the tech policy expert was really pushing for things like government regulation.
So how do we prevent AI from being misused?
Well, regulation is one part of it.
Okay.
Having clear guidelines and rules about how AI can be used.
That makes sense.
But it also comes down to things like transparency.
Okay.
Companies should be held accountable for how their AI systems are making decisions,
Right.
and they should be able to explain why those decisions were made.
That makes a lot of sense. So I think one of the things that might be going through people's minds right now is, well, okay, if we regulate AI too much, are we going to stifle innovation?
Right. I think that's the classic push and pull.
Right.
How do we encourage innovation while also protecting people?
Exactly. And that's where I think this discussion gets really interesting because it's not about saying no to AI.
Right.
It's about being thoughtful about how we build it and how we use it.
Exactly. And it's about, building those ethical considerations into the design process from the very beginning.
So you're thinking about the potential consequences.
Yeah. I mean, it's like thinking about, the potential side effects of a new drug before you release it to the public.
Right. You have to do your testing.
Exactly.
So I'm curious about this, like when we're talking about the future of AI,
Yeah.
I mean, where do you see this going?
I think we're going to start seeing these ethical AI practices become more and more standard.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be like, how today companies have to have financial audits?
Right.
I think we're going to see something similar with ethical AI audits.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to become part of the DNA of AI development.
So it's not just what can AI do,
Right.
it's what should AI do.
Exactly. And I think that's really the big shift that we're going to see.
So this has been a super interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that ethical AI, it's not just a tech issue.
Right.
It's something that affects all of us.
Yeah. It's a societal issue.
Exactly. And I think as AI becomes more and more powerful, it's more important than ever for us to be having these conversations.
Absolutely. And I think it's on all of us to, ask the tough questions and to make sure that AI is being used for good.
So for everyone listening out there, what can they do?
I think the biggest thing is just to stay informed.
Okay.
Educate yourself about how AI is being used in your life.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
And if you see something that you think is wrong, speak up.
Absolutely, because we all have a role to play.
We do.
In shaping the future of this technology.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been another deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.